Beaver fans, and welcome back to Meet the Beavers. This is episode 19 already of the series. It's hard to believe we're already getting to 20 episodes in the season, and what a start and what a transition has been all throughout. We started off with football, and now we're already getting to some of the big sports in the winter and the spring. And man, what a journey it has been. I'm your host, Cole Clementich. We're back in the place where all the magic happens in the Sports Information Office. And we're here ready to get started with another new guest, this time from the baseball team, as a professional communication major, or broadcasting, if you will, transferring from Sacramento City College to wheel and deal as a pitcher for the Minot State baseball team. Here to talk with us today, Gage Eastlick, a good friend of mine. Gage, welcome aboard. Happy to have you here. How have you been?
Good to be here. I've been good. Been a long few road trips, but got to be in Minot for a few days before we leave for SMSU on Wednesday afternoon.
Awesome. Well, we got a lot of good things to talk about today. Obviously, your time is important. You got class coming up here, but we're going to try and make this a nice little fun one here today, folks. So, like I said, Gage, we'll get more into the classroom stuff here, but, let's talk about the season and kind of little starter here. Talk about the team, the season for yourself and as a team, how it's going so far.
It's going pretty well. Last year we struggled a lot. We had a lot of ups and downs. Only getting 15 wins in the season is brutal, right? Mm-hmm. So this year we kind of turned the page a little bit and said, hey, look, we're going to come into this one firing on all cylinders, try to do everything we possibly can to just be a better overall ball club and honestly just kind of be there for one another and throughout the tough moments. Now, we have games where we can't hit, we have games where we can't pitch, we have games where we do both, So it's one of those things where you just kind of have to work through it, and if our hitters are struggling one day, then hey, pitchers, we got your back, all right? Mm-hmm. Vice versa. Pitchers struggling, hitters, hey, we got your back. I mean, we've been able to put a lot of runs up on the board. We've also been able to throw up a lot of zeros on the board as well. So far it's been very well.
Yeah, and like you said, you mentioned some long road trips here. You guys were in Arizona for a good portion most recently here, and a good mix of non-conference and conference games. Tell us, how did that go? What did you guys, kind of discover about yourselves a little bit as, kind of rolling right into conference season here?
Well, like I said, we've been hitting well. I mean, we're also really close as a squad, too. I mean, last year there was some division amongst guys. We had a lot of problems on the team. I'm not going to get into details, but, just trying to be able to come together as one as a unit and being able to be that team that we know we can be. And so far we've done that very well. I mean, we've had a lot of transfers. Oscar Pegg out of JUCO, catcher, first baseman, and we also had injuries too. Gunnar Kozowitz went down. Pegg filled in that role at first base, and I mean, the last game in Arizona he had 2 home runs. So I mean,
that's nice.
Nothing to scoff at. We have Connor Hill as well. He is a transfer from Point Loma, a senior too, and he's a two-way, so he hits, he pitches. And he's been absolutely mashing the ball, and he's also been pitching very well. His first start of the season went 7 innings shutty. So far it's been good. New guys on the squad. Our staff has been looking really well, and our hitters have been absolutely smoking the ball as well too.
No, that is good to hear. And let's talk about, since you guys were in Arizona for what felt like forever, what were you guys able to do to kind of fill some of the time when there weren't any games happening? Also talk about the weather. Obviously, we're freezing our butts off up here, but in Arizona it had to be very nice.
It was nice. We had a bunch of 80-degree days. I mean, we didn't really have too much off time. We had, I believe, 3 off days, but there was other days where we didn't have games, but we had practice. Mm-hmm. So just kind of being able to spend time around the pool, because we did have a pool and a hot tub at the hotel.
Nice.
So outdoor, of course, because, that's always nice. And I know a lot of us did go golfing, as there's a golf course right next to our hotel. So Keiko Munoz and I, we went together and just had a good time. But yeah, just spending time with people, and we also, a lot of us had family down. People are from Arizona, so their families drove down the 1 or 2 hours from the Scottsdale or Phoenix area. And yeah, my family came down. We went over to Tombstone, checked out the spot where it all went down from the movie in the 90s.
Oh, nice.
So pretty good stuff. I mean, true story, Doc Holliday. Look into it if you don't know what it is.
Doc Holliday.
So yeah, it was good. It was a fun time getting into the better weather. Felt like home a little bit. With the weather, but yeah, it rained though. It did rain, and that kind of dampened the mood a little bit at times.
Oh, man.
But I mean, still very nice weather nonetheless.
Yeah. What did you and Kekoa score? Did you shoot 9 or 18?
We played 18.
Recall?
It was, I believe, it wasn't a full par course though. A lot of par threes and par fours.
That's fair, yeah.
I haven't played golf in months, so it was pretty rough, but it was fun. So we had a good time.
No, I gotta get out there and I gotta start practicing my swing a little bit. It looks a lot of fun, and obviously we had a Top Golf here in Minot, so I gotta start practicing a little bit. I don't play much at all, so but yeah, that's good that you guys were able to at least get some free time in there. And so let's move on here. By the time you guys had started, other schools in the conference, they already have this amazes me. They already had like 10 or so games before you guys had even started. Does it feel too early or too late for when you guys start the season? Do you see a good starting point of when a baseball season should start? To me, it kind of feels weird. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and going back to like JUCO days, we started last week of January. So being starting first week of March was pretty late in the year. But on the flip side, it really helps you able to like work out the kinks in the bubble. So if you're a pitcher and you're struggling with a certain pitch, it gives you multiple more weeks to be able to try to tune that in and get ready for the games. But like we were talking about when we went down to Arizona, had all those games at once. It's like if you struggle with something right away, you have to fix it in that moment because you don't have a lot of time till your next turnaround. So definitely, I know a lot of the hitters were working on stuff and trying to get better. I mean, Cole Talley, struggled in the bubble to start the year, had a great fall, came out, had his first start for the Beavers and got 2 hits, I believe. One of them, a little infield single. I gave him a little tough time about that, but then he smoked one. So I was like, hey, there you go, dude. Struggled, but hey, you got to work through it, and that's what a lot of us have been doing.
Good deal. And I always forget there are 2 Coles on the team. I'm actually neighbors with one of them, Cole Barda.
Oh yeah.
And Cole Talley. So hey, but lots of Coles to go around here. But yeah, nice to see Talley doing pretty good on that front here. I was going to mention the home opener, but before the show started, I overheard you and Mike talking that may not be happening now.
Yeah.
What's going down? Tell us some details.
Well, kind of a funny story. Our head coach, Boisner, reached out to us about yesterday in the kind of middle afternoon, said, hey, there's a 50-50 chance we don't play at home because of the weather this weekend. And then about, I would say, 10 minutes after that, he says, yep, we're going to SMSU. So it kind of just was shot out there, and we're like, oh, okay, we'll be prepared. And then all of a sudden, yeah, we're going. So we have to pack up and be ready tomorrow. We leave at noon. Home openers are going to have to wait a little bit, but it is what it is. It happened to us last year, and we're used to it.
Yeah, flip of a switch like that, it's crazy. But, like you said, the weather in North Dakota, it's very unpredictable. Have to be ready at all times. And we wish you guys the best of luck, hoping that things go well down there at SMSU. Obviously, you hate to have the sites change like that, but, this is just kind of the world we live in, and I'm sure other conference teams have dealt with that. Have you played other schools that have had to switch venues before? Is that... it may have happened before you were here, but do you recall any such experience?
Yeah, so kind of an interesting one. I remember last year we played Wayne, which we just played them this last weekend, but we were supposed to be at our field. Now, weather obviously permitted, so we were going to go back to their place. Well, their stadium wasn't ready because they're a natural surface for whatever reason. I don't remember exactly. Okay. But we played at a neutral site like 10 minutes away from them. So we were right down the street from where their school is, but we played at this neutral site, and I remember getting there. We had no idea where we were going. We were just kind of showing up there, the field, and going to play 2 games that day. And we get there, and the dimensions of the field, 400 feet down the left field line.
Wow.
Yeah, and
that's like MLB range. I'm pretty sure.
Not even MLB. 400 feet down the left field line. That's like center. That's deep. So. And the cool part about it is yes, you have to play at a lot of neutral sites in the spring with the weather. You have to go down to Iowa or wherever, maybe Kansas. Mm-hmm. But the cool part is you play at some unique places. So, I've never played at a field like that, and obviously Wayne was supposed to host after we couldn't. But hey, we played there that one day, and the next day we went back to Wayne. So, it is what it is. It's cool. You get to experience kind of 2 different sides of it, but nonetheless, it does happen to everybody.
Yeah, well, whenever that does happen, we're hoping to have you guys back home here and, kind of get the home portion going. And, like I said, wishing you guys the best of luck in that. Let's talk away from baseball now, and you do a lot of things on campus. Obviously, I got my degree in professional communication. For those who don't know, that's broadcasting. That's your major right now. And you also represent the one team. That's One Team Tuesday, by the way. You represent the one team as a broadcaster for Beaver Sports. So tell us about some of the adventures you've got to take on this school year.
Well, this school year, I mean, I kind of opened my horizons a little bit. I did hockey for the first time, and I did not get great reviews on that. Shout out Sean Arbo. Let me know that I did a very bad job. So yeah, it was rough. But I mean, I didn't really know what was going to happen going into it. I got not even a 12-hour notice beforehand. I just kind of got thrust into the spot, which it happens. You have to be able to kind of just roll into it. Did some more softball. I worked the Bubble Invitational, 11 out of the 12 games, which I somehow still had a voice after that.
Still had a voice. It's crazy.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, softball is a sport that I consider very close to my heart, very similar to baseball, but growing up watching my sister play in travel ball, going to all her games, doing book for them, whatever it may be, always had a good time. So yeah, softball, obviously basketball with Howard in the fall and then Owen in the spring. And yeah, volleyball too as well. I mean, I've kind of done a little bit of everything this school year. But it's kind of interesting because it's not something I thought I would do ever again since high school. As in high school, I was doing play-by-play at my junior year for football, and I was not a big fan of it at the time. But then I get here, and hey, we need you to do it, and okay, I'll do it. So far, I'm glad I took that opportunity and ran with it.
Gage is a perfect example of an athlete from one sport helping out in, I guess, the broadcasting or just, setting up, working the game day environment for other sports. That is what the One Team is all about. So, Gage, you've done some great work in that. Let's talk also, for those who don't know, I've seen you in action plenty of times, but you've done a lot of sports anchoring segments for the campus TV show, some other cool projects, audio, TV, you name it. Talk about, some of your favorites you've done, and, show us a little bit of your resume, too.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so how far do you want me to go back here, Cole? We can go all the way if you want. We can.
Up to you.
Oh, well.
We can do, start at Minot State, let's say.
Start at Minot State?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I got here in my first semester. I was with Trevin Badger and Gage, two other baseball players in the show class. Technically, I was not supposed to be. Neil cut me a pass as I didn't have the prereqs, but I had done it all throughout high school, so I knew what I was doing, roughly. So I became a sports anchor my first semester, did that, and had a good time doing it. Got to relearn what I already knew. Did a couple of broadcast highlight packages as well for women's basketball, got those shown, and then I haven't done it since, but I've had classes that have kind of entailed with that. We had a sports production class last semester with Neil Roberts again, and got to get back in the saddle a little bit. Had to host, which I've never been more stressful for something until I hosted before. So used to having that teleprompter in front of you and being able to read off the script, but then when it came to hosting, I was just shaking. So, done audio, I've done graphics, I've kind of gone around the wheel a little bit and tried a little bit of everything, so kind of just whatever they need, I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah, and you also had a part in the Saturday Showdown as well.
That's right.
I don't know if you ever had Inside the Dam before, but I think you were on there a couple times. But talk to us, that experience, what can people... I guess some of you athletes probably know Inside the Dam already, and Saturday Showdown with Coach Shields and the football pregame show. For students who are interested, that are big sports fans, what can they take away from those if they watch?
Yeah, I would say Saturday Showdown is honestly the best thing because you get to kind of have your little inside secrets with head coach of the football team, Ian Shields. I mean, you talk to him before and a little bit after if he has time to sit around, but usually he doesn't. Football's a busy life. I don't know how they do that, but hey, all the credit to him. You get to kind of talk to him about a little bit of insider trade secrets, if you will, for the football team, what they're going to run that day, what they're seeing on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So it's pretty cool. I mean, especially if you're a big football fan, I think any person that goes to the games and really enjoys Minot State football or just football in general would love to be in there. And Coach Ian Shields is a great guy. I mean, he's a great coach nonetheless, and he's honestly super down-to-earth person you can talk to about really anything.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Big baseball fan too, as his son plays in Florida for another Division I college.
Duval, Jacksonville University. Shout out Jonah.
Yeah. Absolute stud over there. So we keep updated over here. We know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he came up here past couple summers to play for the Minot Hot Tots. So, we'll see maybe a third go-around, but you never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that, Gage. And, before we send you off here, you're just about wrapped up in, your academics and baseball. What are some, goals or aspirations? Where do you want to take this degree? And what do you actually? I have another thing I forgot to mention. You had an internship with the fire department back in your hometown. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh man, I ran the social media account. It was more or less of a way to get my foot in the door with my local fire department. For those that don't know, I mean my whole team knows. I talk about it pretty much every day. But I'm going into the fire department once I graduate from Minot State. This summer I have EMT courses to take, and then in the fall I'll be at the academy. So whole lot going on there. But I was an intern, and it was a great experience. I mean, I knew a lot of the people there already. I was actually neighbors with one of their captains, who's now intern chief. Shout out Captain Evan Faddis, or now Chief Faddis, I should say. So yeah, it was a great time. I got to experience a whole lot of things, medical aids, fires, lift assists, whatever it may be. We were there and get to ride around on the engine. So it's cool. You have the little headset on. You're it's super loud in there. If you don't know, like if you're in the engine without a headset on, you can't hear anything. It's roaring. So you have to have the headset on so you can talk to the other people in there. And usually, it's just about kind of just waiting to get to the call, kind of just talking about random stuff, depending on what it is, of course. Another thing too is staying at the station is its own battle in a way. So I stayed overnight a few times, ran 24-hour shifts with them, just experiencing with kind of how it was and being able to take pictures and video for the fire department as well. I still help them out from time to time, sending them pictures or creating videos for them. But when you get a call at 3 in the morning,
oh boy,
that's a brutal experience. The light goes off above you. The I guess buzzers are flaring. Everything's kind of get up and get going. So you kind of have to be ready for it. But it was a great experience, and I can't wait to see what my future holds.
No, and that is very exciting, Gage. Obviously, we wish you all the best in that endeavors post Minot State, and what a great field to get into. Firefighting, and certainly, it's a tough job. It's very demanding, but it serves the community well, and we know you'll do great at that, Gage. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, and then before we send you off here, Gage, anything else you want to mention to the fans? I guess opening day of Major League Baseball this week. How excited are you for that? And
I am very excited.
Anything else you want to mention?
Yeah, very excited about opening day. Although I am wearing a Padres hat right now. Go Giants! Big Giants fan. I'm from Lincoln, California. So pitching coach Craig Schmick, also a player last year. Both big Giants fans. Noah Matus, who's from Arizona, big Giants fan. So we're all kind of rooting for them to have a good year. They did really good in spring training, so we'll see how it goes. But for opening day for us, I have no idea when it's going to actually happen. We know it's just kind of weather permitted. So be sure to come out and check us out on the field, and hopefully we can get a sweep or win some games.
Yeah, be on the lookout for any social media posts, Beaver Facebook, X, Instagram. I'm sure there will be plenty of updates for when Minot State Baseball comes into play at Corbett Field when the time comes finally. But with that being said, Gage, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Yep, and there you have it, folks. That was Gage Eastlick, Beaver pitcher for the baseball team, and a transfer from Sacramento City College, and broadcasting all fun endeavors there as a professional communication major, and a lot of cool stories to share on that. So we thank him for being on the show today, and thank you guys for watching as well. Be sure, like I said, always be on the lookout for our Minot State game updates, whether it's on, like I said, Facebook, X, Instagram. You'll always find all the latest in Beaver sports content. But that's all for us today on episode 19 of Meet the Beavers. I'm your host, Cole Clementich, signing off, wishing you guys a good rest of your week. Take care. We'll see you next time.
And roll Beavs.
Roll Beavs.